Hi there. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Chrissy Rubel, and I am a water efficiency specialist with Cobb County Water System. It is my honor today to walk you through the wonderful world of smart irrigation. Residential outdoor water use in the United States accounts for more than 9 billion gallons of water each day, mainly for landscape irrigation. And experts estimate as much as 50% of that water is wasted due to inefficient irrigation methods, leaks, and also overwatering. So, what can we do to save this water? Well, that's where smart irrigation comes in. So today, hi there, I'm down in this little box now. Today, we're going to talk about the different types of smart irrigation technology that'll help you save water and save money on your water bill. So the first section, we're going to talk about smart irrigation controllers. In our second section, we're going to talk about the different types of sensors that you can attach to a normal irrigation controller to make it smarter. And in our third section, we're going to talk about sprinkler head technology. That's right. There's actually technology small enough to fit on that sprinkler head and help you save water. Let's get started with smart controllers. Along with smart controllers, actually, before we get started, we need to talk about where I've gotten this research and how you can find the same resources I used for this presentation. So at irrigation.org/SWAT, you will find this website, the Smart Water Application Technologies Organization. This organization tests these smart irrigation technologies as well as provides resources on what technology will work best for your lawn. So after you're done watching this video and you find yourself craving more irrigation technology, go ahead and log on using this URL above me. Now we're going to get started with our smart controllers. So how are smart controllers different from that standard controller? Well, let's review. What is a standard controller? So a standard irrigation controller is a clock-based system. It's a series of timers that you have to manually program to schedule what time of the day that the water starts, and you have to schedule a timer for how long you want your lawn to be watered. With most standard controllers, they do come with a seasonal adjustment feature, which allows you to program the percentage of water that's released during the hotter months versus the colder months. And with the standard controller, it does work, but there's a lot of guesswork, and you have to manually input your scheduling and system for watering. So what the smart controller does is it makes this guesswork a lot easier. Smart controllers have Wi-Fi capability, and they have a smartphone app that allows you to have remote access so you can turn on and off your irrigation controller with your phone. Along with this app, it allows you to input data about your landscape, and it has abilities such as weather awareness, which we'll talk about shortly. And from the data that you input to this application, it'll actually create a watering schedule for you. And a lot of people think that this might be more expensive out of the two, but smart controllers are affordable in comparison to standard ones. It's just dependent on how many irrigation zones you have at your home. So, how do smart controllers work? So smart controllers, like I said, they have a smartphone and Wi-Fi capability, and they have the ability to sync up with your Amazon device and your Google Home. Through this app, the controller can understand your system by inputting data about the plants that you have, the soil type on your landscape, the way your sprinkler system is laid out, as well as sun exposure. And from this data, it creates an irrigation schedule with runtimes that are automated by the smart controller. So all you have to do is just plug everything in and it plays by itself. But what happens if it rains? Well, that's where weather data comes in. So smart controllers have weather awareness capabilities. So a smart controller will continually adjust your watering schedule by tracking updates from local weather stations around your area. So you'll never be that one neighbor that has their sprinklers running during the rain. It calculates evapotranspiration, which is the amount of water that evaporates from your soil surface. So that way, your smart controller can understand when to turn on your sprinkler system again. It's really fancy. So depending on the weather, the system will determine watering and reschedule additional watering days accordingly. This is one of my favorite features on this smart controller, and I think you should consider it. But why should you consider a smart controller? Replacing a standard controller with a smart irrigation controller can save an average home nearly 7,600 gallons of water annually. And if every home in the US installed a smart irrigation controller, we could save $1 billion in water costs and over 100 billion gallons of water across the country from not overwatering our lawns and landscapes. But what if you're a little reluctant to switch to a smart controller? You enjoy having your standard irrigation controller and its timers, but let me tell you, there's a way to make your standard controller smarter. And that is through the use of sensors. So we're going to talk about two different types of sensors that you can attach to standard controllers to make them smarter. Our first one is all about rain. So we have rain sensors. So similar to that weather data that smart controllers collects, you can attach a rain sensor that will temporarily shut off an irrigation system so it stops running when it detects rain. These rain systems can be easily installed just by putting the sensor outside and running the wire to your standard controller. They can be retrofitted on already installed systems, and you might also see them referred to as rain shutoff devices or rain switches. It's a really simple way to help you save water and use the free water that's available to water your lawn. Another sensor that you should consider attaching to your standard controller is a soil moisture sensor. So soil moisture probes can be buried at the root level on your lawn, and they have a wire that you can attach to your controller. And the soil moisture-based sensors can shut off an irrigation system when the ground is already wet. And this helps prevent overwatering. As well as them preventing overwatering, these sensors can also turn back on again when it senses the soil is drier. That's pretty smart. It's something easily you can attach to your system. Many manufacturers make these moisture controllers and sensors, and they can be retrofitted onto your existing system, and they can interface with most controllers on site. The installation will require a little bit of work, but I think these soil moisture sensors can help you save a lot of water and prevent some of those plants that are kind of finicky about being, overwatered or underwatered. It's a really great sensor you should consider. But let's look at some technology that can be found at the smallest part of your irrigation system, the sprinkler heads. So sprinkler head technology is so important because it combats a common problem that occurs in sprinkler systems. I think you know what I'm talking about. High pressure. High pressure is common within sprinkler bodies because it's dependent on the way that your sprinkler system's laid out. If you're on a hill or if you're below a hill, pressure can kind of make some things go a little haywire within your system. So why is this pressure important? Well, it moves the water out of those sprinkler heads so that way your lawn can be watered. But when it comes to this pressure, if it's high pressure, as the pressure increases on your system, the more water comes out of your sprinkler head. Now you might think, well, that's okay with me. I might water my lawn a little bit faster. But let me tell you, when more water is being sprayed out of that sprinkler head, it's actually prone to misting. And that water is more likely to go into the air than on your lawn. And that water that's misting into the air is being evaporated. So you're actually wasting water and not watering your lawn properly. So how can you know if your system is too highly pressurized? So you can have a pressure gauge that's pictured above. And when it comes to the different types of sprinkler heads, there's different PSI ratings that will work with each one. So for spray sprinkler heads, an ideal PSI would be 30. And for rotor sprinkler heads, an ideal PSI would be 45. So when you put your gauge with your sprinkler head, those are the numbers you're going to want to see if you want a system that's properly pressurized. Another way you can determine if your system is highly pressurized is by sight and sound. Just walk outside while your sprinklers are on. You will see, like above here, that maybe your water is mostly going into the air instead of the lawn, and you tend to hear a little high-pitched noise coming out of that sprinkler head. That's how you know you might have a pressure issue. So how does sprinkler head technology solve this problem? So there are different types of sprinkler technology we'll cover here. We have two different types. Our first one, there are actually pressure regulating sprinkler heads. They solve the problem just by twisting on that new head and it's done. These pressure regulating spray heads include built-in regulators that maintain a more constant pressure for optimal nozzle performance. And you can purchase regulating pressure heads for both sprays and rotor heads. You can find these heads at the home improvement store, and it should say the acronym PRS or PR for pressure regulating system or pressure regulating. It's a simple switch and it'll help you solve that high pressure issue. There's another type of sprinkler head technology that works specifically for spray heads, and those are high efficiency adjustable nozzles. These nozzles are designed to apply water in a specific pattern and a distance with specified water pressures. And they can be easily retrofitted onto your existing sprinklers. You just twist that head off and put this new nozzle on. They are designed for watering small lawns, shrubs, and kind of irregularly shaped landscapes. So these high efficiency, variable, adjustable nozzles, HEVAN nozzles, are considered to be 35 to 40% more efficient than regular nozzles. That seems like an easy switch to me. So be sure to look out for the acronym. You can see the arrow right above me, the acronym HEVAN. So when you're at the home improvement store, look for those nozzles with that acronym on them, and they can help you save some money on your water bill. 35 to 40% just with that small spray head. Good technology. Now, we've just talked about shopping. How do you know, other than just looking closely at those acronyms, that you're buying a water efficient product at the home improvement store? Well, there are actually certain labels that you can look for when purchasing new fixtures for your irrigation system. So there's the WaterSense label, which is at the top over here. And the WaterSense label is a part of the Environmental Protection Agency's program called WaterSense. And their organization is dedicated to testing water efficient fixtures in the home and outdoors. The WaterSense label tests smart irrigation controllers and sprinkler spray body systems. So you can look for that label on those two different fixtures if you're thinking about making the switch at the store. The Smart Water Application Technologies, or SWAT label, can be found not only on smart controllers and those sprinkler heads, they can also be found on the soil moisture probe that's above me, as well as the rain sensors right next to me. So you can look for that label as well when you're making your purchases at the home improvement store. Now, we've made our purchases, we've come back from shopping, but now we have to install these fixtures. Well, if you have an electrical engineering background, it is a little easier for you to install your new sprinkler systems or fixtures because it requires some wiring. And that could take about 2 to 3 hours just to get that wiring right. But if you're like me, I like to call in a professional to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. In fact, the EPA WaterSense program, as well as SWAT, have certifications that people can take to become certified irrigation professionals. So not only can you call somebody to install all of these water fixtures for you, you can also call them and they can give you a proper assessment of your landscape and tell you which fixtures will work best for you and your landscape. So to learn more about those certified pros, you can go to the database at the EPA WaterSense website or the Smart Water Technologies website, type in your area code, and it will tell you which irrigation professional is closest to you. All right, guys. I hope that you enjoyed walking through the world of smart irrigation with me. Once again, if you want to learn more about these water fixtures, go on to irrigation.org/SWAT. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you want to learn more about water conservation and water pollution prevention, log on to cobstreams.org. If you want to continue learning about water through these videos, explore our YouTube page at Cobb County Water System. We have fun short films, as well as more of these workshops that you can click on and learn something for free. I hope you enjoyed our workshop today. This is Chrissy Rubel signing off. And remember, save water. Bye.